What's going on, guys? Project 33 back again. This time we're going to do top 5 bug-in vehicles for people on an extreme budget.
Click on Zombie Apocalypse.
Before we get into today's video, why don't you all do yourself a favour and go check out my other video of top 5 bug-out vehicles. Might not be what you expected. So what is bugging in? Well, basically it's the opposite of bugging out. You know, bugging out, you're getting the hell out of Dodge. Bugging in, you're staying the hell in Dodge. You're going to stay put, you're going to put up a fight. Or, you know, A, you've gotten to where you're going and you're not going any further. Or B, you can't afford to get anywhere. You got no Aunt Esther in Atlanta to get to, so you got no other choice. You're going to have to stay put. So that's bugging in. So what really is the difference between bug-out cars and bug-in cars? Well, bug-in vehicles are more suited for short trips around town. You know, you start and stop, and you know, parking. Bugging out cars can do bugging in for a little bit, but eventually you're going to find it hard for you to feed them. Basically, they use a lot more fuel and they're a little bit more maintenance intensive. Well, sort of. But as you'll see for the bugging in cars, the bugging in cars are a lot easier to maintain, a lot cheaper to maintain. And they're also a lot cheaper to buy as well. But we'll get there, But, well, there's only one bug-out vehicle on here that makes the list for bug-in vehicles, but we'll get to that in a second. Your big thirsty patrol might be cool at first, but if you're only receiving 15 litres of fuel rations a week, all of a sudden becomes less cool. So that's where these bug-out vehicles really start to shine, is in their fuel economy. And of course, if you're in lockdown, the police are going to be out. They're going to be out finding you. They're going to be out trying to find people to find. And look what happened the last state of emergency there was. You know, police were out handing out fines like they were lottery tickets. So the car's going to have to be registered. So all these cars, a mechanic will easily be able to fix it for you, or you can fix it yourself fairly easy. Let's get into it. Number 5. It's a Toyota Camry. You knew it was going to be on this list. That was the only one that actually made the list from the bug-out vehicles. We won't spend too much time on the Toyota Camry. I've spent a lot of time on it before, and well, you know what a Toyota Camry is. It's just the best all-round vehicle there is. I mean, it can do bugging out. It can do bugging in. It's fuel efficient. It's reliable. Only the 4-cylinder. Only worry about the 4-cylinder. Don't worry about the V6 model Camrys. You know, they're V6 front-wheel drives. They don't make any sense. And they are a pain in the ass to fix. The V6s are a pain in the ass to fix. The 4-cylinders, a mechanic will easily get you in, get you out. If you supply the parts, it costs you virtually nothing in labour for him to fix it for you. And get yourself a Gregory's, you could probably do it yourself as well. So, yeah, Toyota Camry. It speaks for itself. Yeah, 4-cylinder, and if you know how to drive a manual Camry is basically free. In fact, all of these cars on the list, if you know how to drive a manual, they are basically free. Now, the Toyota Camry is actually the most expensive on the list because, well, it can do basically everything. It's worth the money. So, yeah. Learn to drive a manual. Number 4. The Mitsubishi Mirage. And I might even add to this list, if you can find one cheap enough, is Mitsubishi Lancer. But we'll stick with the Mirage for now. It's reliable, very fuel efficient. There's only 3 cylinders. And again, one of the cheapest you'll find on the list. Very cheap. I think it's the cheapest on the list. But again, yeah, it's possibly one of the best bug-in vehicles you can buy. So you can run it forever on just a couple of litres of fuel, and it'll do pretty much any in-town job you want. And again, if you can drive a manual, it's basically free. You pick it up for like $200, and the mechanic will have no trouble fixing it, and you probably have no trouble fixing it as well. It's no frills. There's no you don't get very many options with it, if any. I don't even think a Mitsubishi Mirage will come with air conditioning, but still, if you've got limited fuel and limited choices, it's hard to go wrong with a Mitsubishi Mirage. But if you can step it up a little bit more to get a Mitsubishi Lancer, they are very reliable vehicles as well. And they come with a lot more options than the plain Jane Mitsubishi Mirage, but again, they're a bit more expensive. So, but I'd put my faith in a Mitsubishi Mirage. I see them all the time being sold for just a couple of $100. And I think they're worth an investment if you're planning to bug in. And these Mitsubishi Mirages, they can do a little bit of highway work as well. They're not as efficient on the highway as you might expect. Being 3 cylinders, you've got to wring their necks all the time, but they can do it. The Mitsubishi Lancer is a little bit more suited to the highway, so that's a little bit more of an all-rounder, but again, a little bit more of the price. These ones are suited to people who actually know how to drive a manual. I don't think I've ever seen an automatic Mitsubishi Mirage. Number 3 on the list. Hyundai Accent. Now these are starting to come up in price a little bit. Well, the automatic versions are. The automatics are, if it's 4-cylinder and automatic, you're paying a premium. But I've seen countless, and I mean countless, manual Hyundai Accents and a few XLs that have survived, going for virtually next to nothing, and with low Ks. And Hyundai XLs, there's a big aftermarket for them as well, and there's a big part supply, and your mechanic knows how to repair them, and you can repair them yourself if need be, and they're reliable, and they're fuel efficient, and they can do highway work. And granted, on the highway they are a bit thirsty. Well, the automatics are pretty thirsty on the highway, believe it or not, but the manuals, I learnt to drive in a manual Hyundai XL, and it was actually pretty easy. So if I can do it, there's no real excuse for anyone to not be able to drive one of these. I would, if I was in a lockdown situation or fuel rationing situation, I would definitely get the manual version of, well, any of these cars. But if you want to have a bit of fun with eBay modding, the Hyundai Accent and XLs are the way to go. Number 2 on this list. This is probably my personal favourite because, well, you'll find out why. And that is a Ford Fiesta or Festiva. Either one will get you through. These are probably almost as good as all-rounders as a Camry. Almost. They probably do a little bit better in the city than a Camry. And again, these are the only ones on the list that, automatic or manual, they're worth exactly the same. It doesn't matter if you get automatic or if you get manual. So if you're not really bothered about trying to learn how to drive a manual, this car's for you. They are probably just as, they're more fuel efficient than a Toyota Camry. They're hauling less weight, but they're almost on the same reliability scale as a Toyota Camry as well. And they're almost what you'd call as good as all round. On the highway, the Toyota Camry will take it every time. The Toyota Camry's just more planted on the highway, but these are a close second. I mean, I've had numerous friends drive these between Brisbane and Melbourne all the time, and I had another friend load up all her worldly possessions into the back of into Ford Fiesta, and drive her ass all the way to South Australia. And I'm pretty sure she still has that car. That still runs. And I had another mate who was being an absolute idiot. Handbraking turns. He was being a dope. He was handbraking turns through a neighbourhood. He's overcooked it, and he's clipped the gutter. The left rear wheel has clipped the gutter, bent itself in, and he's limped himself up the road and parked it up for the night. He went to the wreckers the next day, picked up an entire left rear assembly for $50. Entire left rear assembly. They just swapped it out in 20 minutes. Got the car back on the road. No worries. That's just how they are. You can. Well, granted, he was a mechanic, but still, it would probably take a non-mechanic like an hour of his own to do it on the side of the road with basic tools. They are very simple, very easy to work on. They will run forever. I haven't really heard of one that won't bloody start and run. They are very reliable cars. And like I said, they're very, very close behind the Toyota Camry in terms of reliability and in terms of being able to bug out as well. The Festiva missed out on the bug out list because, well, the Toyota Camry was just a better pick. But for bugging in and for doing the occasional trip out of town, you can go a lot worse. Right, here we go. Number 1. That's a Daihatsu Mirror. This little tiny thing is probably the best bug-in vehicle you can ever want. Little tiny 3 cylinders, and I don't think they make it on automatics, but who cares? Learn to drive a manual. And it is the best bug-in vehicle you can get. I don't think I've ever heard of one running out of petrol, ever. It could be on E, and the owner says, "Don't worry, I'll fill it up next month." And it'll make it. It's not what you'd call a highway star, but then again, if you're going on a highway, you get something else. But around town, you cannot fault this damn thing. It will get in places where, even a Festiva would dream of. Just there's a little space. Park it in a bloody motorcycle space if you want. And take a stupid amounts of shopping. It's a tiny little van. You remove the rear seats and you got yourself a tiny little van. And it's about as reliable as you can get. And it will cost nothing. It costs virtually nothing to fix the damn things. It costs virtually nothing to service it. Parts readily available. A mechanic, give him a dare iced coffee and $20 and he'll give you change. Tyres on the thing. Tyres will cost you like $20 each. It's the best vehicle just to run around town. Hell, even if you don't need to bug in, if you're just driving to the shops every weekend, once a week, a tank of fuel will probably last you half the damn year, since you're just going towards the shops and back and forth to the shops. It has to be. I'm not. I'm a Ford guy through and through, but I have to admit this Daihatsu Mirror, it is the best option, and they are absolutely cheap to buy as well. They're not They're not bloody, they're not trendy cars. You can't eBay them up. You know, you can't find any mags to put on them. You can't find a turbocharged kit or body kit. You know, they just are what they are. They're little buzz boxes. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up another video. Sorry about the short one, but there's not much really to be said about these cars. I mean, they're cheap to buy, they're cheap to maintain, cheap to run. Either car you buy will be great for you, really. Anyway, if you think I've missed one or you want to add one to the list, put it in the comments down below. And as always, I'll catch you next time in another video. Stay sexy, guys.